Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Gary. Gary is actually the transferred use of an English patronymic surname dating back to the 12th century. It developed from a Germanic personal name derived from gar meaning spear. It is therefore often used as a short form of names such as Garfield, Garrison, Garret, or Gerald. One notable name bearer was Albert Henry Gary, a founding member of U.S. Steel, who lent his name to the city of Gary, Indiana, established in 1906. Years later, in 1925, a then unknown actor by the name of Frank James Cooper followed the advice of a casting director and changed his name to Gary Cooper. The casting agent felt that the name would give him the same rough and tough element that she remembered from her own native Gary, Indiana. As a result of Gary Cooper's tremendous popularity in the late 20s, 1930s and 40s, he alone helped to popularize this surname turned forename among all English-speaking nations. Personality of the boy named Gary. Romance is the hallmark of the Six personality. They exude nurturing, loving, and caring energy. Sixes are in love with the idea of love in its idealized form, and with their magnetic personalities, they easily draw people toward them. Like the number 2 personality, they seek balance and harmony in their life and the world at large. They are conscientious and service-oriented, and a champion for the underdog. These personalities naturally attract money and are usually surrounded by lovely material objects, but their human relationships are always primary. They thrive in giving back to others rather than being motivated by their own desires. This is when they achieve great things. Sixes are natural teachers, ministers, and counselors. Popularity of the boy named Gary. The name Gary has been on the U.S. male naming charts since the government first began tracking naming trends in the late 19th century. However, back then, the name wasn't very popular. Gary pretty much hung out at the bottom on the charts. It wasn't until the mid-1920s that we begin to see Gary show some promise. It was 1927 when Gary Cooper became a major film star, and in 2 short years, this name would advance over 300 positions up the charts. Not content to stop there, the name kept on soaring right along with Mr. Cooper's illustrious career. By 1933, the name Gary would become a top 100 favorite in America. During the 1940s, this name averaged number 14 on the charts. But it was the 1950s when Gary saw most of his success. The name was a top 10 choice among American parents of sons between the years 1950 and 1954. This was quite an accomplishment. We would call Gary a mid-century definer when it comes to masculine names, similar to Larry, Ronald, Donald, Kenneth, and Dennis. Even though Gary remained a top 100 favorite boy's name for 56 consecutive years, all the way through the late 1980s, his prime is now behind him. Gary's decline in usage was slow and steady, and now the name is bestowed only lightly. In fact, many people associate the name Gary with a middle-aged man at this point. Quick facts on Gary. Gender, boy. Origin, English. Number of syllables, 2. Ranking popularity, 578. Pronunciation, Garee. Simple meaning, spear. Characteristics of Gary. Sensitive, humanitarian, affectionate, family-oriented, compassionate, community-minded, loving. Cultural references to the baby name, Gary. Popular songs on Gary. A song by Butthole Surfers, The Briefs, Gary Floyd, Toy Dolls, Big Head Todd and the Monsters, a song from his Greetings from the Side album, a song by Blink-182, Gruesome Gary, a song by Down by Law, a song by The Adverts, Gary Gilmore's Eyes, Looking Through, Gary Glitter's Eyes, Dysentery Gary, Bachelor Boy / When Gary Married Melanie, Gary Indiana Blues, St. Christopher's Lullaby, Gary Jules. Famous people named Gary. Gary Coleman, actor, Gary Dordan, actor, Gary Newman, musician, Gary Kasparov, Russian chess grandmaster, Gary Oldman, actor, Gary Sinise, actor, Gary Lee Weinrib, musician, Gary Carter, baseball player, Gary Player, golfer, Gary Levix, country musician, Gary Busey, actor, Gary Larson, cartoonist of The Far Side, Gary Payton, basketball player, Gary Cooper, film star,